Hey everybody, welcome back to another game review, trying to get back into a somewhat regular rhythm of doing this after, like a big 3-year hiatus of that and other random content in between. So anyway, recently I finished reading through the Naruto series, and I just thought, hey, maybe I'll check out the games. And I got like the trilogy on Steam for like $12. It was pretty well priced, so I bought that. I just thought I would go over each of these games and sort of give like a little, maybe not like a full super analytical kind of review, but at least talk about it a little bit and share my thoughts and whatnot, and see maybe if this lands or this content is worth exploring further. So just for my background with this series, I've only ever read Naruto. I've never seen the show for it at all, except for like maybe just like clips. So that's kind of where I'm coming from going into each of these games. And yeah, so I started with the first one. It was a PS3 exclusive until the trilogy got an HD remasters for all the current gen stuff, or I guess now last gen since that's PS4. This is the one of the trilogy that wasn't on Xbox 360, and it does kind of show that with some of the graphics, which I think are in some ways a bit better than the other two in certain regards. Especially the scale for this one, considering that you have a fully explorable Konoha village, or Hidden Leaf Village, I don't know, whatever you're used to calling the village. And all of the other games do not have a village that is nearly as big and expansive as the very first one, probably due to the limiting factors of trying to put the game out on the Xbox 360, potentially. That's just an assumption I was making from that. But yeah, I do think the cel-shaded graphics do look very well, especially since I'm pretty sure the first one came out in like 2008 initially. I think the graphics still hold up really, really well, with just like, a simple higher resolution, higher frame rate and whatnot. I'm not sure if they did much with the textures, but I mean, I still think the game looks very well and holds up, 18 years later at this point. I think the game handles some of the boss battles very well, especially coming from reading the manga. I think that it's a very cinematic experience for a lot of them, like against Gamabunta, Gaara, and Orochimaru. They have these really cool and cinematic battles where it starts off, you're just racking up damage until you get to a certain point where you get to like a cool, unique animated event where you have to do the quick times, which is sort of what I, expected going into it, since I had known that much going into it because of just seeing clips. But it was very fun and satisfying, and I do think that that was probably one of the highlights of this game, where there's really awesome boss battles against these giant enemies that you don't really get to see nearly as much on, I think, the later games, because as of this review, I've played through the second and third, but not the fourth, which I'll probably maybe get to that soon. The giant battles, I think, are just very well done, and they were fun, and that's ultimately what really matters in a game. And for, battles that aren't against bosses, I do think this makes for a above average, 3D arena fighter game. Like, I did think it was somewhat fun going through these battles and kind of progressing the story. I do think that this holds up with some of the better ones, kind of like with the JoJo one, which I also think is very well made, which I also think is very fun. And I also was able to 100% the game on Steam, because the achievements were not really that hard once you completed the story. It only took me probably like an hour just to round up everything I didn't already get at that point. So it was pretty easy to just, 100% put on my completion list on Steam. So right now it's just going to be that and Gravity Circuit. Those are the only two that I've 100%ed at this moment in time. But there are some things that I think the game could have handled much better. Obviously, I think the first thing that comes to mind is the story. Compared to at least 2 and 3, the story just is not really implemented well at all. It's basically just text box you're reading during loading screens for the most part, and that's not really that interesting to watch. Like, there are some scenes where that's different, like usually like the 4 big boss battles that come to mind. Like Gamabunta, Gaara, Orochimaru, and Sasuke. They all have these like unique cutscenes that happen, but other than that, like the entirety of the story is just text boxes and loading screens, and that is not really that well implemented. And they also skip the entirety of the Land of Waves arc, which was kind of a big letdown, since that is, one of the better arcs in the entire series. Probably at least a top 5 for me. And the only real bit of that we even get is during Ninja Storm 3, where you have the Edo Tensei battle against Zabuza. So that's basically all you get from that arc at all, which is kind of a letdown. Much like the final boss, which, while I do think it was decent, it was not nearly as well implemented as the giant bosses. It's kind of just like a normal battle with like just a cutscene before and after, and that was kind of a letdown considering how cinematic the other giant bosses were, even though, you know, going in Sasuke wasn't going to be giant. But I at least would have expected maybe something that we would have seen like in Ninja Storm 2 or 3, where you get to a certain point, there's a quick time event sequence with the really cool, well-made 3D animated scene, and then you just go back to the normal fight until you get to another threshold in the HP. Also, they forced you to do these really monotonous and repetitive mini-games like every other story beat in the game, which was kind of really questionable why that was pushed into the main story. It feels like a blatant waste of time just trying to continue the story pace for no reason, and they got really old after like doing them like 2 times each, because there's like 3 mini games that you probably have to play like around a dozen times each to complete the game, and it was pretty annoying. And lastly, while I do think the like ultimate attacks for each character, they are pretty cool, but they also just kind of amount to just mashing buttons when you land them. It's pretty much just mash whatever buttons on there. The CPUs aren't really going to be able to ever outmash you, so just, you know, mash the quick time event, hope that you get it, which you pretty much will always will. I never failed a quick time event for the ultimate, like, ever. It was easy. But the thing is, you also have to land it in the first place, and that's the more difficult part. So I'm glad that they took that out in the later games, because that was kind of questionable why they implemented that in the first place. But anyway, that's pretty much everything I have for this particular game. I did enjoy it, but I do think it was, you know, definitely not as good as 2 or 3, especially with the story. But I do think that it handles exploration the best with, you know, just exploring the Hidden Leaf Village and, you know, jumping from rooftop to rooftop. That was probably, I think, the highlight of this entire game, along with those 3 giant boss battles. But I do think, yeah, if you see this game, like that trilogy sale on Steam for like $12, yeah, it's definitely worth playing. But I do think this is probably going to be the obvious least favorite. But let me know if you're interested in hearing a review about Ninja Storm 2 or 3, potentially 4. I have 4, I just haven't played it yet or recorded any footage for it, but, you know, if all goes well, I probably will end up doing that. But let me know if that's what you're interested in the comments, I guess. Also, let me know if you are interested in hearing a manga review, because that is also something that I am contemplating doing. Even though it's not exactly my forte, I do think it might be worth a shot. But yeah, just let me know about that too, because I would be down to make a review for the entire Naruto manga, if it's either something I want to do or if there's any demand at all, pretty much. Anyways, that's all this time. Thanks for watching.